Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I got something special for you today. This right here is the brand new Beretta 92X. Alright, this is the brand new offering by Beretta in their 92 series. Same kind of gun you've grew up to love in the 92 series, except with some key changes this year for 2020. Alright, this of course is made in the USA. You'll notice right off the bat, Picatinny rail. You'll notice a little bit shorter barrel, and it comes with different grip kind of setup. So you can adapt your grip depending on if you want to do the old kind of style with a little bit of hump back here, or if you want to do more of a 1911 with some checkering on the front and back. And we'll take a deep dive on the closer kind of look at what has changed for the 92X. But today we're shooting about 500 rounds through her. We actually shot a couple hundred rounds at an indoor range before bringing her out here, just kind of get a feel for her. So let's keep shooting a little bit more, and then we'll bring her to the table, kind of give you a close-up look on what is in this new 92X, and then also how does it compare to some of the older models like an FS. So the new 92X comes with 3 17-round mags, and they seem to fit very well in the hand. You can see they just kind of overhang just a little bit, so it's not much different. And of course, this is the same exact frame kind of size you already know from the 92 series. But let me show you a couple things I've noticed just off the bat the last few hundred rounds or so. So first thing I noticed, the new sights. All right, so I'll show you of course the close-up in a second, but they're blacked out rear, high-vis front. Awesome, right? The latest and greatest for polymer guns are kind of going that way too. I love that kind of sight setup. It's a little bit easier to pick up and use. However, these are shooting low. All right, so they're a little bit off, and there's no real way to adjust the elevation, so you just kind of have to compensate, aim a little bit higher. You can see all my hits are hitting kind of that 2/3 lower part of the target, but I'm aiming for the center. All right, and same thing with the little gong over here. I'm hitting it, and I have to watch, of course, because a smaller little 8-inch or 6-inch plate, depending on what you're shooting, you're gonna hit the wood and break your 2x4 quicker than you want to. So if you have a little gong, so far this gun right here, you have to aim up just a hair compared to my 92 FS, which has shot straight all along. All right, trigger is good. All right, so far, trigger is very nice. It's lighter and smoother than the FS just by a hair. All right, and overall I love this new grip angle. All right, the 1911 kind of grip angle feels really, really good. All right, so let's take it to the table before I kind of go into too much depth on this and show you kind of up close here. So let's take a look at what you get from Beretta for the 92X full size. Beretta has really kind of upped their game the last few years. This plastic case used to be like the blue case with like little tabs here that would break off. This is a little bit nicer, little sliding locks here with a little hole there for lockable, so you can actually use this for locking the case down. And then of course you open her up, and you got some nice foam in here. All right, you got your 92X right here with 1 mag in it, 17 rounds, and you actually get 3 mags. So good on Beretta. I feel like 3 is perfect, 2 for your belt and 1 for the gun. All guns should come with 3 mags. All right, you also get spare grips right here. We'll talk about those. Some extra screws, little nuts in there as well. Now the 92X herself here, like I said, 1 mag in the gun right there. All right. Lock it back, make sure it's empty there. The grips that are on here right now are actually the grips that are very similar to the other 92 series, kind of a little bulge in the back here, but you also have these thinner grips right here that are very much more of a 1911 or a thinner grip kind of look and texture to them. So they kind of thin the grip out a little bit more, and they get rid of that bulge in the back just a little bit. All right, but this feels good in the hand. If you have ever picked up a 92 FS before, or 92, any of the series, you'll know the Beretta kind of feel. It has this little kind of hump in the back right here, kind of really feels in your hand. All right, nice smooth action there. Your typical hammer right there. You have a safety up here that is also a decocker. All right, and of course you have your double action, single action trigger. So double action, all right, single action, There you go. And moving on up here, of course, the typical open Beretta look right there, open slide, and then of course you have a new rail mount right here for mounting different flashlights to, or accessories, lasers, whatever you need. Very, very nice, classic looking Beretta. But let me go ahead and grab an older FS and kind of compare the two. So I wanted to bring the 92FS out. This is about a 10-year-old example of the 92FS made in Italy. This right here, of course, the 92X just came out, made in Tennessee, right in the USA, and you can already tell some key differences. All right, so let's go over kind of the differences cosmetically just on the front here, and then we'll talk about what Beretta has said they've changed in the 92X to kind of bring this old 92 series up to the 21st century. So right off the bat, modular grips. All right, so you could get different grips for the 92FS, but this one comes with extra grips, and we'll talk about how they shoot comparably to each other, because the one that's on it right now is very similar to kind of the feel of these grips right now. A little bit thicker, nice little bulge in the back there, kind of really help kind of match the same feel that you're used to in a 92 series. All right, same exact kind of safety mechanism right here. There's a couple of different models that are coming out. I believe the decock/safety, which is this right here, is the F model. There's also a decock only, which is the G model, coming out as well for 92X. All right, the actual magazine release, just a simple push button right here. This is a kind of more squared off with a little bit of texture, so that's nice, kind of bringing that a little up to speed a little bit. All right, and they also improved the trigger and the hammer spring. Okay, so the old 92FS, again, double action, single action. All right, kind of a heavy double action there. 92FS, oh sorry, 92X. A little bit cleaner brake. A little bit lighter on that double action. So I got my trigger pull scale right here. So let's test out the single action on the 92FS first. All right, we'll try to do the same way here. All right, right about almost 5.5 pounds, maybe a little bit over 5.5. One more time. Same direction and everything. And about the same, about a little over 5.5. All right, so that was the 92FS. Let's try this one here. It might have lightened up just a little bit. .5. Try it again, try to be in the same spot. That curved trigger is kind of slick. It's a little bit harder to test these out, but right at 5. And there's one more 5. So right about 5 pounds versus 5.5. So they definitely helped clean up the trigger quite a bit there. All right, so beyond the trigger, what else we have? So same exact takedown method. All right, so to take her down, all you do, make sure she's clear. There's a button on the other side right here. You can depress, flip it down, slide, comes right off. All right, very typical of a 92 series. All right, same thing with the 92FS. Comes right off. And you can tell right there, they are almost exactly the same, but overall looks and feels the same when you take her apart. You can see it's kind of double walled right there versus single wall on the frame. Oh, and one thing to note, that it is still a polymer guide rod. That just seems to be the 92 series. They just all have polymer. I think there's a couple other ones that did come with the steel, but this one is polymer. All right, there you go. So the other differences are the sights. You can see the 3-dot sight right here, not adjustable. And you look over here, you got a blacked out rear sight and a front high vis sight right there. So it's definitely something that's adjustable now, both on the front and the back, so you can switch out the sights. But also they went with a more modern, not 3-dot, right? They went with more of a serrated kind of blacked out rear, and then the front kind of high vis. I prefer that, honestly, and I think a lot of handguns are going that way now. So definitely upgraded sights, good on Beretta right there. And of course, lastly, a couple of big ones here. We have the barrel is a little bit shorter on this one right here, just a hair, so it's not sticking out. Of course, typically you get a threaded barrel on here to look about the same kind of footprint, and you could do that as well. Again, parts are interchangeable, but notice that right there, a little bit cleaner look to it, a little bit different, all right, because typically this is not the style you see. Moreover, the barrel is kind of lined up directly flush with the slide of any kind of modern handgun. And of course, you have the accessory rail, okay? So this one's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting seeing a Beretta right from the factory like this, but you can go ahead, put on your weapon light like so, and even as far back as it is, you know, it's kind of a reach for your finger. Just the tip of your finger can hit that button in a normal grip, but of course you have your hand, you can adjust just a little bit, bring your thumb down, all right, turn that light on and off, and I do have to get new batteries. I think this OLED's almost dead, but it's usable, so it's cool to have a rail on there. That is good to have. I feel like that's kind of every modern handgun at this point. You can adjust it out if you want to though as well, all right, or bring it in. And even something as large as this O-light right here, you can see it does go flush with the barrel, so it's a little bit different. Typically this tends to stick out past the barrel with other handguns. Magazines, 15 rounds that come with the original 92FS, 17 rounders that come with the new 92X. All right, so you can see here, they do fit and lock back in the 92FS. All right, and 15 rounders go in just fine, of course, and then 15 rounders do work in the 92X as well. So magazines interchangeable, so it's good to see these are all interchangeable and can be swapped out like so. All right, so let's go ahead and swap out to these different grips real quick. All right, so I'll show you how to do that right now. Actually, before we switch out these grips, because they're already kind of set up to look very similar and fit and feel very similar to each other, let's test the weight. All right, so unloaded mags in each 92X, we're at 32.8 ounces. 92FS, 32.6 ounces. All right, so I mean, very similar. So to switch out your grips from one or the other of the two grip options that came with the 92X, I'll show you guys that real quick. Drop the mag, check to make sure she is unloaded. All right, you can use a decocker if you want, it's not a big deal. But you have two screws right here. All right, so this is a 5/64. All right, a little bit here. So what you're gonna do, go ahead and line it up. The original 92FS actually comes with a flathead screw, so it's kind of interesting they switched over to a kind of a hex, like a little bit like this one here, and they are not very long of screws either. See, they're very short, and they also have these little kind of washers with teeth on them to kind of help, almost like a Loctite mechanism there. So be careful when you're doing this. Some of them get stuck in there and you don't want to lose them. They are small. All right, flip it over the other side. Go ahead, same thing. All right, once you have all the screws out, now here's the tricky part. This one is wrapped around the back of the firearm. You can see that here, and that is why it gives you that original kind of 92 feel to it. All right, a little bit more beefiness in the hand there, and kind of a little hump back here to fill in your hand. All right, so what you're gonna need to do is actually gonna have to peel it up, and sometimes a little sticky, away from those screws right there. All right, and the other side as well. Try to make this easy for you guys to see. Pop it up and over. All right, you also have the magazine release right there. It's a little bit tricky. You want to be kind of careful with this. All right, so pop her up over here as well. There you go. All right, so you have it underneath the magazine release right there, and you have these little screws kind of sticking up for where the screws go in. So you can take off your grip entirely and you're back down to the frame. Now you have your thinner grips. All right, so to install these, all you do is you kind of swoop in, go underneath that mag release right there, and you can see it's already thinning this off. And of course it has a nice checker. I'm going to show you guys that in a second. And we're going to shoot this in this kind of setup because I do like the way this kind of looks and feels. a little bit thinner, more like a 1911, and it kind of just feels a little bit more modern to me, honestly. So go ahead, hand tighten these down. Not too tight though, because if you end up like doing it too tight, you'll either crack these or you'll go through the hole here and have problems with magazines going in or out. Flip it over, drop your washer thing in there, hand tighten, there you go. And now you have a much thinner grip profile, and you can see there that difference. So it really is going to make a difference in shooting as well, especially if you're used to like a 1911. It doesn't, that little bulge that was out here is now disappeared to show a nice checkered back right there. And then the front, nice checkered front as well. All right, but other than that, it is a very similar feel with how the actual trigger guard swoops in like that. You'll notice the FS is actually a kind of a rounded off, or not rounded off, right, a more flat piece there with some finger grooves in there for potentially if you were going to shoot like that and hold it like that. Again, old design, who knows what they were doing back then for holding handguns. And here, a little bit more rounded off. I almost wanted to kind of see them do kind of more like a modern squared off, but it's still not too bad. And of course you have that nice long rail there anyway, so you have enough real estate for any kind of lights on the market currently. So there it is right there, new grips. Also, one last thing, you'll see there's a little bit of shininess right here. There is no bevel around the mag well, all right? However, check this out, nice bevel on the mag well. Now, that's going to help with feeding magazines. It's going to keep this area nice and clean so you're not jamming magazines, because you see this nice sharp lip here. So it's just going to help with kind of feeding new magazines in, potentially help with taking magazines out. So it's nice to see a nice beveled magazine well like that. So we are about 7 yards away from that steel target right there with the 92X. These are the original 15-round magazines made in Italy that came with my 92FS. And you'll see they fit about similar to those 17 rounders. There's no crazy shorter extension or anything like that. They fit just about the same as the 17 rounders, and they load, run just fine. But again, shooting low, so you can see all the rounds are hitting on the very bottom there. So we'll aim a little bit higher. All right, there you go, a little bit more center. Shoots really, really good. Like I mentioned before with the spring kind of switching out, they did there to kind of clean up the spring. That is usually an upgrade that Beretta owners already do to their 92 series. Beretta already did it for you. They cleaned up the spring, they cleaned up the trigger overall. And that grip angle, I think, does help. That kind of bigger grip, some people do like. I'm definitely more with a thinner grip, kind of more current to the standards of current kind of duty pistols, which this kind of fits into. You could carry it though. I mean, it's definitely beefy, but you could carry it. You can shoot her plenty fast. Single action's good, but how's a double action? It's really not bad. Double action's fine too. Beretta, I mean, that's why Beretta 92FS, that was my first handgun. I think a lot of you guys saw those in the old 80s movies, even like Boondock Saints and things like that. Those movies really kind of got me hooked on the Beretta 92 series, and it's just a classic handgun. It runs, it's reliable, durable, and overall just a great shooter. So I slapped an Olight PL Pro on here to show you even the bigger lights kind of fit pretty well with this larger framed kind of full-size handgun. And I also grabbed these 15-round military surplus mags I have. These are actually dated July 2010, made in the USA. These are kind of finicky, all right? So the coating on here has a magazine, makes them kind of stick a little bit sometimes, and also they don't tend to lock back. So I'm curious to see how they run in the 92X. We're also about 15 yards away. I backed it up, so let's see how I can kind of get on target with those sights being a little bit shooting low. That's an Evil Roy target on the left right there. I got my little 8-incher on the right. So in order to hit that plate, I have to aim right at the top of the plate at this distance. And then for the Evil Roy, I'm kind of aiming maybe that first third top of the target there. Yep, did not lock back. Just like I thought, but at least it didn't stick in there. So I'm giving myself 3 rounds to hit 3 soda cans, 7 yards. Let's see if we can really test these sights on this Beretta 92X. We got one hit low, what a surprise, and another hit just on the bottom, so 2 out of 3. So go figure, of course, my video file that I recorded for this kind of wrap-up portion of the video has been corrupted, so bringing this to you guys live from the backyard, my final thoughts on the Beretta 92X. So I think that really kind of helped tweak this and bring it up to the 21st century. I mean, with that new kind of backstrap there, the new upgraded trigger, a little bit cleaner, an accessory rail, of course, 17 round magazines. You can't really complain there. It is a full-size handgun, and 17 rounders seem to be kind of the go-to for full-size handguns because those more compact, like Glock 19s, CZ P10Cs, all those are more like 15 round mags. So it just makes sense to be able to fit 17 rounders into a standard 92 series. So I think overall they did a great job kind of upgrading this 92X, kind of bringing the 92 series, kind of clean it up, make it a little bit more relevant to 2020. Those sights are really nice, even though they are a little bit off, but they clean up nice, they look good, they're easy for target acquisition, you can still hit just fine with it. The 92 series overall is a very accurate and easy to shoot handgun platform. So I would recommend it. Right now, they're not really in stock in very many places. That'll change. They're going to kind of get more and more inventory in. I'll find some links. Maybe I'll put them below if I can find any in stock or anything like that, so you guys can check these out. Of course, prices will be all over the place, so just kind of keep an eye out. But overall, I approve. So, well, thanks for watching, guys. As always, subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you have any questions at all about the 92X. Hit them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. And of course, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet, and I'll see you in the next review.